Imagine you put a tiny ant on an iPhone screen. It's crawling around, up, down, exploring the edges. Maybe it turns back, confused. But here's the thing. That ant will never, ever know it's standing on a smartphone. It doesn't know what the internet is. It doesn't understand GPS. It has no idea someone is watching it from above. Now ask yourself, how do you know you're not that same ant in this universe? Thinking works great when we're dealing with things inside our three-dimensional, everyday world. It falls apart when we try to understand a reality with dimensions and rules we can't even perceive. In evolution, the brain that survived wasn't the smartest one. It was the fastest one. If you heard a sound and ran, you lived. If you stopped to analyze it, you probably never got the chance to think again. So our minds were shaped for survival, not for understanding reality. That's why when we ask the biggest questions, about why was I born? Where was I before I existed? What happens after I die? We're using the wrong tools. The word why was made for our little human world. Why won't the car start? Why am I sick? Why is it raining? Those questions make sense here. But when you use that same small word to ask about the entire universe, it breaks. We're basically assuming the universe works like our everyday life. If you come from somewhere, you must go somewhere else. Our classic picture that everything must have a precise cause is incomplete. Interestingly, for almost 100 years now, the old law of causality is no longer the only rule in physics. That old idea helped shape many religious stories and gods. And those stories made sense to people for centuries. But then quantum physics arrived, and causality starts to crack. In the quantum world, some things aren't decided by strict cause and effect. They run on probability. This isn't imagination. This is science. And it works. It powers your technology. Let me give you a real example. Every day you use GPS, and it finds your route perfectly. What you probably don't realize is this. Most modern technology, from LED lights to computer chips, runs on quantum mechanics. And here's what really gets me. Our brain hates not knowing. It's terrified of it, so it rushes to fill the silence with stories. Beautiful, comforting stories. Gods, karma, cosmic energy, past lives. They feel good. They calm the fear. But most of them aren't answers. They're just fear wearing a pretty mask. The dangerous move is saying, I know, and then starting to philosophize with made-up stories dressed as intuitive science. We take ancient fictional stories, gods, karma, cosmic energy, born from ignorance and fear of the unknown centuries ago, and we still cling to them. Now, what's the problem if these stories comfort us? If we fool ourselves a little, look around carefully. All our cities, civilizations, and social systems were built to improve human life. But alongside them, yes, we created countless theories about the universe. In the end, right now we know one thing for sure. These assumptions and stories are not truth. But then what is the truth? I don't know. And the scariest part? When we start calling those stories intuitive science or higher knowledge. We're lying to ourselves with a smile. Look around you right now. All the wars, all the hatred, all the violence we see, most of it doesn't come from reality. It comes from the stories we've convinced ourselves are true. We don't fight for truth. We fight for the stories that make us feel safe. And the hardest word to say is still, I don't know. So what do we do with all this? We don't run from, I don't know. We don't hide in stories either. We learn to sit with it. We turn, I don't know, into a quiet strength. Because the truth is, we only have a few decades here. That's all we really know. So maybe the goal isn't to be right. Maybe the goal is to be a little less wrong. Every single day. To hold our beliefs gently. To stay open. To stop them fighting to prove we're right. And start working together to live better. That is what living in the shadow of the unknown feels like. It's hard work to put a filter on everything you've learned since childhood. To question it. To criticize it. without judgment or bias. It's difficult, but possible. The reality we can grasp is this: we don't have a long time, just a few decades at most. So here's what actually matters. 1. Never elevate any belief to absolute truth.